Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, FD for Sage5.tv. In this video, we want to cover the upcoming Avalanche upgrade, the Avalanche 9000 upgrade. That's a fascinating upgrade if you ask me. But before I jump into that upgrade and my views on Avalanche 9000, please note that what I'm going to share with you in this video is not financial advice. If you do require financial advice, please approach someone who is trying to give you financial advice. The information contained in this video is just for educational as well as entertainment purposes. And this content is also not targeted at UK audiences for the sole reason that the UK authorities do deem anything crypto related to be extremely risky, and they are trying to protect you just in case you end up losing your investments and your funds and maybe your livelihood. Never know. So please tread carefully and do not participate here from the UK. But if you are from the rest of the world, guys, welcome to Sage5.tv, and I'm your host, FD. And this is a channel we bring you non-conventional content that you may or may not find anywhere else, but I choose the latter. I don't think the content we bring you guys here, you can find it anywhere else. It is non-conventional. We don't follow the crowd. We bring you what we think. For myself as an investor, what do I need to learn about? Or if I were joining you today, what information would I be seeking? I'm also sharing my experiences within this space. That said, guys, let's come to Avalanche. Avalanche, a layer 1 network that is competing to dethrone Ethereum. Don't know if that will happen, but it is bringing some very nice things that the likes of Ethereum and your Polkadot and your Solana should start to be worried about. So let's look at some of the key components of Avalanche 9000. You got the Etna upgrade. This is a core element of Avalanche 9000. The Etna upgrade integrates multiple Avalanche community proposals or ACPs to enhance network functionality. The Etna upgrade also focuses on reducing economic barriers, streamlining development, and offering advanced customization for deploying layer 1 blockchain. So they'll be moving from subnet architecture to layer 1 blockchain. And then we also have cost reduction as one of the key components of Avalanche 9000. Here we are talking of validator costs. Transitioning from a fixed staking requirement of approximately 2,000 AVAX coins per validator to a subscription model, significantly lowering the economic barrier for launching new layer 1s. Current estimates suggest that this fee will be around 1 to 10 AVAX per month per validator, so I think that's affordable. Anyone, even us, the retail players, can also become validators on that. That is, if you can afford the 10 AVAX, of course. What about the C-chain fees? Reduction of basic fees on the C-chain from 25 AVAX to approximately 1 AVAX, making transactions more affordable for users and developers. Also, we have independent operator chains. These are layer 1 blockchains that can now operate with distinct validator sets independent of the primary network, allowing greater customization in staking, economics, gas tokens, and governance. So are we going to see a situation where something like Banky or Joe being the gas token instead of using AVAX? That's yet to be seen. Let's wait and see. Enhanced interchain communication. Here, improved protocols for interoperability between blockchains within the Avalanche ecosystem, fostering a more connected and efficient environment. Now, let's compare this to the previous architecture. So previously, or currently, because still in testnet, we have had subnet, where a subset of primary network validators would opt in to validate additional blockchains. This model requires validators to stake 2,000 AVAX and participate in the primary network, leading to higher cost and potential performance issues due to shared resources. But with independent layer 1s that are coming with Avalanche 9000, the concept of subnets will evolve into independent layer 1 blockchains. These layer 1s will have their own validator sets independent of the primary network, thereby reducing startup costs, enhancing fault isolation, and allowing for tailored compliance measures. And for some new added benefits with this Avalanche 9000 upgrade, you've got economic feasibility, where lower costs for validators and developers make it more accessible to launch and maintain layer 1 blockchain. We also have customization as a benefit. This is when developers will have full control over staking mechanisms, economic models, gas tokens, and governance structures, thereby enabling the creation of purpose-built blockchains tailored to specific use cases. And we are also going to witness an improvement in scalability. The shift to independent layer 1s will allow for horizontal scaling, with each layer 1 operating autonomously, thereby increasing the overall throughput of the Avalanche network. What about regulatory compliance? Layer 1s can implement customer permissions and geo restrictions, facilitating adherence to various regulatory requirements across different jurisdictions. So unfortunately, this is the reality. We cannot dismiss regulatory compliance if we want to gain more traction, because not everyone is born a degen like us, the crypto natives. You'll have some people who want the best of both worlds, so they may want to use blockchain, but use blockchain as part of a private network instead of a public network, for example, or they want a private blockchain, or they want a blockchain with some access rights or permissions, just like they have currently with traditional finance, instead of having everything decentralized. And if you make a mistake, there's no customer customer service to call. For example, there's no customer service for Bitcoin, but if you end up with some of these layer ones Avalanche is bringing, that might actually end up being beneficial and making it easier to onboard new users, because you will have some chains or layer ones that are permissioned, and if there's a mistake, they may do certain things, maybe reverse or do certain things, compensate. I don't know how that will work, but I think it's an added benefit. It's going to make the whole pie bigger, which means your piece of pie is also going to increase in size. Scalability is a new added benefit. This is because the shift to layer ones will allow for horizontal scaling, with each layer one operating autonomously, thereby increasing the overall throughput of the Avalanche network. And the shift from subnets to independent layer ones, is it a good or bad thing? Well, the transition from subnets to layer ones represents a strategic evolution in Avalanche's architecture. Let's start with autonomy first. Independent layer ones operate with their own validator sets, which means free from constraints from the primary network, in this case Avalanche network, thereby allowing for greater flexibility and independence. You can also isolate fault issues or congestions in the primary network will no longer impact the performance of layer ones, enhancing reliability and stability. Because Avalanche at one point during the 2021 bull run, I think it got affected by congestion as well, and at one point I think it slowed down to almost a halt. But all we hear now is about Solana and the gas wars of 2021 for Ethereum. And regulatory flexibility, as organizations can deploy layer ones with specific compliance measures such as permission validator sets to meet regulatory standards without exposure to public permissionless blockchains. Unfortunately, TradeFi and the authorities will not let go of the power they have. They will try their best to try and throttle the progress of decentralization. Over time, we'll get there, but we've got to start somewhere. So if you give them a meter now, so that in the future you may be able to pull a mile from under their feet. Got to play it clever, guys. It's not about one battle, it's about the whole thing, the war. You need to win the war, not to win a battle. Let them win here and there, let them win some battles, but when it comes to the overall war, we are going to win in the end. That's what we should be focusing on. So what about future expectations for you and I? What should we be expecting from this Avalanche 9000 upgrade? Well, I'm thinking lower barriers and enhanced customization to lead to a proliferation of specialized layer 1 blockchains, thereby fostering innovation within the ecosystem. So we may actually have Avalanche do better where Cosmos and Polkadot have failed. They pretty much failed. Maybe it's unfair, but we are not having that much traction with these two. They led where no one was leading, but when it comes to the actual delivery, things have stalled. Over at Cosmos, nothing seems to be happening, and on Polkadot, it's all about their tech. They are no longer promoting building on their chain, they are promoting their technology, which is suspect if you ask me. Anyway, that's how I see it. If anyone disagrees, you got to convince me that no, that's not what you are doing. Not just tell me that you are smarter than everyone else. That's not what we are after. We are trying to build the future of finance. You are smarter. If you want to be smarter than anyone else, go join academia. And these mass products are probably not for you, because here it's about people voting with their cash, with their resources. If they are not voting for your chain with their resources, you are doing something wrong. At least you got to admit that. No one is saying you're dumb. It's just that when it comes to business and building products that the public actually wants to use, you probably don't have it. So admit it, work in the background, or join academia and let the people with a view of the market as it is today do the driving of the growth agenda. Because at the moment, what's happening at Polkadot leaves a lot to be desired at the moment. A bit harsh, but it's got to be said. We're also thinking enhanced interoperability. I think that will come with what's happening at Avalanche 9000 upgrade. Improved interchain communication protocol facilitate seamless interactions between layer ones, thereby contributing to a more cohesive and efficient network. And then the attraction of institutional participation, of course, when they can now build their own layer ones, I'm sure they will love that, because Avalanche, we know it works closely with institutions. I'm sure the likes of JP Morgan and so forth, they are involved with Avalanche in one form or another. So if you then say you're putting your bank on the Avalanche network, they will love that, because they can have their private chain on Avalanche, onboard people to the banking system on Avalanche. Over time, when people start experimenting with all these things, they will want to know what is actually happening elsewhere within the pie or the sphere they're playing within. Because when it's a permission blockchain and you got a bank account that is onboarded onto, say, Avalanche network, you may not even know that your account is managed on a blockchain unless someone actually teaches you. This is where channels like Sage5.tv and the others come in to educate you. Did you know that JP Morgan's bank account, for example, when it actually happens, I'm not claiming that is the case today, I'm just saying in the future, when that happens, our job will be to say to those who are not privy to some of this information, did you know that the savings account you hold with Bank XYZ is hosted on the Avalanche network, where you can also access decentralized finance? There you go. What do you think, guys, about this Avalanche 9000, which I think marks a significant milestone in the evolution of the Avalanche network, introducing a more flexible, cost-effective, and scalable environment for deploying and operating Layer 1 blockchains, which has not been the case until now. This upgrade is expected to drive innovation and adoption, positioning Avalanche as a leading platform in the blockchain ecosystem, especially when it comes to institutions. I can't see institutions making a beeline to you on Solana. Do you? Let us know in the comment section. Until the next one, guys, this is FD for Sage5.tv signing out for now. Bye.